what's going on, everybody? Up on YouTube land. So, down a little bit. I know it's dark out there, y'all, right now, because I don't really have I don't have the fire going yet. But that will be soon. It's actually got a kind of a chill in the weather right now, so a fire is nice at this time of in this kind of weather. Get that going, and try and get some warmth in here. Oh wow, there's people. Black Spring, good to see you, girl. Surprisingly, you're popping in at this time in the morning. Good to see you. Who is it? Nana, Snooks, if you're in here. Red Pill, Tate. Morning time, everybody. And if for whoever's in there and stuff like that, if if anybody does want to come up on panel, and because they got something some kind of topics or whatever they want to talk about. You let me know. Yeah, I'm glad you made it there, Autumn. Yeah. I mean, seriously. Um, just getting the fire going. So, a couple of past fireside chats that I've had, and recently, been getting into like some deep self philosophical mumbo jumbo type of stuff, and maybe I can continue doing that. I don't know. We'll see. See how the how the universe treats me. And plus, oh man, this fire going. And eventually, it'll eventually catch some of those big logs that I've got in there. Oh man, especially right now. Actually, right at this moment, the weather is actually kind of nice. It's actually kind of got a chill in the air. This is perfect weather for a fire. And so, try and get my tripod in the right spot. Nana, what's going on? Just got the fire going, so it's trying to go. I got, mostly I just got some fat lighter in there right now, kind of trying to get the big logs going. So that's why there's so much smoke at the moment. But hopefully I can get these logs to start. And that's the last of my firewood until I can cut some more firewood. So I got to do that sometime if I want to keep doing this. But yeah, I'm definitely going to have to cut some more firewood. But at the moment, this is the last of it. So however long this fire lasts is how long this stream's going to last. Put it that way. I got a full battery, so I'm good there. But uh, unless I steal some firewood from my uncle's uh, stash over there. Yeah, I mean, it is. I can definitely feel it getting a little cooler at night. I mean, I can leave the windows open. I don't have to have the air conditioner on. I can, that kind of thing, which is actually kind of nice. Um, plus I can air out my Wolverines. What's going on? Another fireside chat, brother, right there. But like I said, I mean, if absolutely necessary, I'll probably have to. Oh, I appreciate you, Black Spring. I appreciate you sharing it out, man. That's awesome. You know, I mean, the more people that's in the chat, the better the conversation can get. And if anybody does have anything they want to talk about and they want to come up on panel, just let me know. I'll put especially if I know you, I'll put the link in the chat, and y'all are welcome. And like I said, I mean, uh, the the fire is going to be going for a while, as long, you know, I mean, these are some pretty big logs in there right now. Fire will be going for a while, and then when those kind of start getting low, I may go over to my cousin's or my uncle's house over here and snag some of his firewood. But I definitely need to cut some more firewood soon if I want to keep doing these, you know, these fireside chat things, because I'm running out of firewood. It's definitely going to be some of the projects I'm going to have to do in the near future. Because I enjoy sitting out here when it's kind of cool out next to a fire. You know, for the people I know personally, um, this is sitting around the fire having conversations is definitely one of my favorite things. Because I mean, you know, there are conversations we can't talk about here on the internet. It's much better to talk face to face around the fire. It's how they used to do it in the old days. You know, what I call the primitive television. We can sit here and watch the primitive television and talk. Yeah, I know, man. I mean, you know, there's a there's a lot of stuff. I guess you got plans for tomorrow. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to do something when it comes down to the firewood aspect. I'm gonna have to definitely do something. Uh, you know, I'm gonna have to find some old oak trees or whatever to cut down or something like that. You know, and I got plenty of pine trees, but I don't like burning pine all that much. But they don't last long, and it puts off way too much smoke and soot. I like burning this oak wood that I've got in there now, but and I mean the only reason I got all this smoke in there because I got some fat lighter to kind of get everything going. That's the only reason why there's so much smoke in there right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna have to go out in the woods down there on the property and get some fireside chat. You know, I do too. I mean, honestly, man, this is where you can. It reminds me when I was a kid. You know, I love going. I like going camping and stuff like that. I don't do it as much as I used to, but I should. But you know, I live out in the country, you know, or in the rural areas, so it's almost like camping every time you know, all the time. But um, yeah, it's one of the things that I loved about when I was younger is you know sitting around the fire and telling stories, stuff like that. Do need to go get my drink before I forget about it. Go grab that. All right. I think it puts a different vibe on the lives. Relaxes. Yeah, it kind of relaxes me too. You know, sitting out here under the stars. I mean, the moon is about half full, but it's already gone down below the horizon. So it's a you know, and it was bright earlier. It was, I mean, it was really bright. It was, you know, so I think which is like I don't know, probably in a few days. I don't know. I can't remember how many days. You know, it's just a few more days. it'll be a full moon. I think it's gonna be a harvest moon, I think. So it's gonna be like, I think one of the, when the moon is, like, the closest, to the Earth. So it's gonna look really huge when it's full. Yeah, it's a clear night. I mean, I gotta, like I said, the only light pollution right now is the fire, so I don't have any light pollution otherwise, and I got a really good, view of the stars, and, I keep my eyes open for all those little lights that I notice going across the sky. What's up, Tate? Like I said, if there's anything that you guys want to talk about or anything like that, and you guys got like any kind of thing or whatever you want to come up, feel free. Let me know. Um, I know Tate, you don't come out on lives and stuff. You more like a backstage guy, but just throwing that out there for anybody, especially for the people I know. If I don't know you, I won't let you up. But if you guys want to get into any kind of thing, philosophical and deep conversation, whatever, I'm all into that kind of thing. I like getting into those kind of subjects. But it's a really, and then right here from where I'm sitting, if you, from this direction where the camera's sitting, if I look straight up that direction, you're looking straight at Orion's belt. So that's where Orion's sitting right now. Uh, Keeping my eyes open for those little lights floating across the sky. You know, I won't be able to get it on video because StreamYard won't let me do really low light and zoom in and all that good stuff. So I won't be able to show it. But keeping my eyes open for those things, those strange little lights going across the sky. Not sure what they are, whatever they are. Like I said, I've got a pretty good view on nights like this when it's clear and stuff like that, and no moon. uh, it's pretty easy to see the Milky Way. And like I said, directly above, in the direction of fire where it's sitting right now, where the camera's sitting. Like I said, I've got a beautiful view of where Orion is and all that in that direction. So it's nice. I enjoy myself. You know, looks like it's trying to catch. I got some big logs in there right now. It's trying to catch. And that should last for a little while anyway. I'm gonna tell you, Tate. I'm gonna tell you, if a flying saucer lands down here on the property, man, I'm gonna take that damn thing for a spin. It would be something. but most likely I'd probably see ghosts before I'd see aliens. I've got quite a few graveyards and cemeteries that are not that far away. So, and right around the area. Oh, what's up, Huckleberry? Right around the area, within 100 miles of me and all that stuff, man. Uh, a lot of uh, a lot of battles from the Confederate, from the Civil War. A lot of the Civil War battles happen around here. So, a lot of people, a lot of people died around here. So and plus I've got family buried around here. So no telling. I've got there's probably some ghosts floating around here somewhere. We got old ghost stories and stuff like that. Um, of family walking around out here in the woods. There's this one, yeah, there's a lot of them around this area. I mean, in the panhandle of Florida, there's a lot of them that are around like within 100 miles of me around this areas and stuff, man. A lot of battles and stuff like that happened, or skirmishes, whatever you want to call them. So I've got there's an old, um, family plot way back in the woods back here on the back side of the property. And there's this one lady that's buried back there. Her name is Emma. And ever since I was a kid, we've had all kinds of stories about Emma. A lot of my family over the years have claimed they've seen her walking around out here. Remember when I was young? Well, I remember my grandmother telling me about this. I wasn't born yet. My dad and his brothers and all that stuff, his siblings and all that were all kids at that time. But it was right out here on this property, down here by the pond. Um, they used to do, family campouts and stuff like that. We'd set up those big, huge um, canvas military tents, the big ones with like the wooden poles and all that shit. And we set it up down there at the pond and, have ourselves a family, you know, camp out type of thing. A lot of times we do it around Thanksgiving. We used to do it a lot when we were younger, when I was younger anyway. We don't really do it that much anymore. We're kind of like down to a skeleton crew. Yeah, she's related to me somehow down the line. I'm not sure exactly. She's not the same. It's not the same last name as me, but and she's related somewhere down the line. Um, and like I said, it's an old family plot. I did a video a while back ago, years ago, or something like that. Me sitting there at the cemetery and uh, talking about, because like um, there's spots where some, slaves were buried. Um, there was where some of the house slaves were buried inside the fenced in area, and then the field slaves were buried outside of the fenced in area. Uh, you know, yeah, it's like they're related to me. I mean, I don't know exactly how they're related, but yeah, from what I'm told from family anyway, that Emma and all them are related to me somehow. But But my family, my dad's side of the family, anyway, it's like it's been, and we've been here in Florida pretty much the beginning of the settling. It's like one of the first families they settled into St. Augustine. So uh, my dad's side of the family has been in Florida forever from the beginning. I think, like the 14 or 1500s or some shit like that. Anyway, but so there's a lot of cemeteries around Florida that I've got family buried in. A lot of them around here. Uh, I remember when I was younger, my granddad before he died, he used to do genealogy, tracing family trees and stuff like that. He did our own, and also he used to do it, for other families and stuff that wanted to do it because this is way before like, ancestry.com, way before all that shit. And so the only way we would trace family trees is like going through court records or going to family Bibles or, going to cemeteries and writing down names and dates and all that shit. So me personally, I'm very comfortable um, in and around cemeteries because I've been around them most of my life. And, I find it very peaceful. Matter of fact, when I was in New Mexico, I actually got to smoke a joint with Smokey the Bear. Smokey the Bear was actually a real bear. Um, I broke down. Like I was living out of my van at the time, and my van broke down in this town called Capitan, New Mexico. And they have a little museum there, from back in the day when Smokey, all the ads and stuff. Oh, you can prevent forest fires and all that shit. Well, there's like a museum of all the old ads and all that stuff. And how it started was actually, they had a huge fire down in one of the valleys around there, and the forestry service or whatever, they found a baby bear, like 90% of his body, like you know, like third-degree burns and shit like that, still alive, sitting in the top of a tree. And they rescued it and nursed it back to health, basically, and that kind of thing. They called it Smokey. So that bear, Smokey the Bear, was a real live bear. And eventually, Smokey died, and they've got a little grave plot where they buried it right next to the like I said, it's like kind of like a kind of I would say it's like a kind of like a museum type of thing because it's got all kinds of the old original ads and stuff like that and all that stuff. Or because that's where it began. You can prevent forest fires, that kind of thing. That's where the whole thing started. And I sat down right next to where Smokey's buried and smoked a joint with him. Not that far away from Capitan is actually Lincoln County, where like Billy the Kid and the Lincoln County Wars and all that stuff happened. Matter of fact, like there's this one spot where I don't know if you know the old story of Billy the Kid. Billy Kid, when he got put in jail and he shot a couple people, a couple of sheriffs or whatever, to and broke out of that jail. Um, that building still stands today. Um, I mean, at the time when I was there, it had turned into some kind of like a pottery studio or something like that. But the original jail building is still standing today. Um, There's some places out there in New Mexico, man, it's just so wild, man. You can go way out in the middle of nowhere. Um, I mean, because it's just I'm not crazy and fond of deserts and stuff. Yeah, as far as I know, I don't know for sure, but there was a guy who claimed to be Billy the Kid, and he had a lot of scars to prove he was, because it got down to the point where he was at his end of his life. He wanted to get pardoned, um, for all the crimes, because I think he killed for like supposedly, I think he killed like over 21 men or something like that. Um, and he was still wanted for that, you know what I mean? Or he was never caught or killed or whatever. So he was actually asking for a pardon before he died. And it's kind of I used to know this one guy out there that um basically one of the last, in my opinion, one of the last wild men. Um all he owned was a horse, a cook pot, a rifle, and that was about it. And he used to just wander the desert or wander around out there in New Mexico and all that stuff. Um, and I met this guy, and he was telling me, because he was just one of those vagabond type guys, and and I happened to sit down and talk to him one time, and he was telling me his stories and stuff. And one of the things he was telling me is like it's getting really, really, really difficult to live that way in modern times. Because used to be, you could just pretty much ride your horse, and as far as I can see, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. And in modern times, there's just too many damn fence lines, you know what I mean? And uh, it got harder and harder to live like that. And even when I was younger, I used to, like I said, I was homeless for 10 years. Like I said, I either lived out of my backpack or I lived out of my van. And I did van life before van life became like a thing and popular and you know cool and all that stuff. I did it way before all that. And uh, it's getting really, really hard to live that way today. There's so many goddamn places, man, that want to criminalize that type of living. That transient or vagabond or whatever you want to call it, that type of lifestyle. Um, you know, oh, away and off the system, off the grid. You know, and I have to admit, there are some assholes and some jerk offs out there that are ruining it for a lot of people that are sincerely trying to live that way. Um, it wasn't like that when I was younger, and the people that came before me, it wasn't like that at all. Just a way of life. Yeah, they are messing with the Amish. Yep. Like I said, it goes back to the Agenda 2030. They want to be able to like tokenize and commoditize every living thing, every tree, every plant, every fucking animal, every human, every fucking thing on this planet. because they want to have, these psychopaths want to be like the masters of the fucking universe, you know, and they don't want people that, have a piece of land, growing their own food, um, you know, uh, basically self-sufficient. That just does not uh, coincide with their, control mechanism that they want to put in place worldwide. They want you to be dependent on the government or the system. And then if you're self-sufficient, you're not dependent on their system. Technically, I think that is like um, one of the ways to combat that system is to become independent and self-sufficient, self-reliant, uh, because they're moving at a massive pace right now and trying to implement this fucking, the digital ID, and everything that goes along with that. You know what I mean? That's going to encompass your financing, your medical, your criminal history, every fucking thing. And you know, like they did over in the UK, they're using the marketing tool. Oh, we've got to do this because of all the illegals, you know what I mean? That kind of thing, Oh, this is how we can keep track of the illegals and blah blah blah. That's how they're marketing this shit, for the good of the people, for the greater good, that kind of shit. That's how they're going to try and do it here in America too. I mean, they're going to make, they're going to try and force businesses and stuff like that to come in compliance with that. And then, like, airlines, it's like, even right at this moment, I mean, if you wanted to go into the UK right now, fly over into UK, you've got to have a digital ID just to get into the UK right now. So, I mean, it's already kind of forcing some people's into that system right now. And so that's how they're going to slowly, not necessarily slowly, but that's how they're going to kind of start getting people into it, is forcing them into that scenario where they have no choice but to sign up for it and then comply with it. And for the other people that don't, use, that kind of, stuff, like either like airlines or like, eventually they'll try and do like public transportation. Then they'll try and like mandate businesses, to do business, they'll have to have it. And then the businesses will try and make it, where it'll be mandatory for the employees to get it. And, and da 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 da. That's how you see how it all trickles down. And eventually, it's like, it's so they can, you know, trap everybody into the damn thing. And and for the ones that are like, that have figured can figure out a way to live off of that and away from that, um, those will be the last ones. Um, because the rest of the world will be on this fucking system. I mean, if you want to go biblical and all this stuff, you know, it's there is that thing in Revelation where it was talking about, it's like, uh, the mark of the beast in a sense, where you will not be able to buy or sell anything without the mark, and that's basically it. And it's a very and it's a very diabolical type of thing too, because I mean, if they got control, when it comes down to digital currency, that's what eventually it will. That's how they're trying to do. If we unless we all come together and wake up to the fact of what they're trying to do to us and stand against it and combat it. Um, the digital ID will couple to digital currency. Like I said, your medical history, your criminal history, all that stuff. And let's say I said some stupid shit out here on YouTube they don't like. Next thing you know, they shut down my bank account, or I can't pay my bills, or I can't go to the grocery store and buy bread. That kind of stuff. Or they notice that I bought so much gas this week, and they're like, "Well, you've already used up your carbon credits for this week, so you can't buy gas right now until we let you." You know, this is the control mechanism that they want in place. I mean, they've already, you know, shown that they'll do this. I mean, you remember like in Canada when they had the trucker protest. They were shutting people's bank accounts down that were just there. They weren't even part of the protest. They were just there. And they were shutting people's bank accounts down. I mean, it's getting pretty crazy over in the UK. Um, I'm hoping all the peasants over there take out the king. That would be awesome. You know what I'm saying? All the peasants need to get together and cross that moat and get past the knights that are protecting the king in the castle and just slice his motherfucking throat at night. You know what I mean? Because that's really what needs to happen. And I'm just speaking metaphorically, like as any of these psychopaths that want to be our masters and rulers are then they're thinking that they are the kings. And if you just think about it from like back in medieval days, that's the reason why kings had big castles and knights protecting them and a big moat around the castle. That's because they knew if the peasants had the chance, they would slice their fucking throat at night. That's the reason why the kings. Now it's just on a massive scale. You know what I mean? It's not just one little castle over here and all that stuff. It's just more on a massive scale today. So it's not like you can go, take out one person and then everything will be okay. It's just not like that. You know, Pilgrim, Morning Time. Yeah, I did have PayPal for a minute, and I don't have it anymore. I do use a digital um, payment system, mostly just to pay bills at the moment. That's or like buy stuff off of Amazon. That's about the only reason I use it. Otherwise, I try and use cash, which has actually been a problem lately. Because I've been trying to put cash onto my card so I can use my card to pay those, like my electric bill and my phone bill and stuff like that. And they've been having. This is the second time this has happened, but they've been having like technical issues or whatever, and I cannot put money on my fucking card. It won't let me put cash on my card. So it's really starting to piss me off because I got some of these bills I gotta fucking pay. It's the time of the month, that for that shit. I think I got up until the 10th to get this shit paid, and I'm hoping that they'll correct their fucking shit now. And I was like, did that, like I said, this is the second time this has happened. The first time it happened, it took them 2 weeks to fucking correct their technical issue. So I can, and they say this is like for all customers. It's not just like just for me type of thing. It's for all customers and stuff. So the last, it was, what was it? Day before yesterday, I tried to put some money on there and it was still out. And, cause I noticed this like about a week ago because I tried to put some money on it. And they keep on giving me the same fucking bullshit story. Oh, it's a technical issue. It's on our end, and we're trying to resolve it. And we'll get it done and all this other da 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 da. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, how in the fuck do you guys expect to stay in business if this continues? You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna tell you something. If this continues or it happens again, I'm gonna say fuck this damn shit, and I'm gonna go use something else. You know, some other kind of prepaid card or something. Because that's, I mean, I don't have a bank account. I don't keep money in the bank and all this other stuff. I just have the card. I put enough money on it to pay my bill, and that's it. You know, that's the only thing. You know, I don't want digital. I want to keep cash. That's just how I am. And so I was like giving them a fucking what, you know, and it didn't matter because it was just some fucking Pakistani or Indian chick that barely speaks English on the other end, and you know, which irritates the shit out of me. It's like every one of these goddamn businesses has got some kind of fucking, you know, Indian fucking call center, you know, as their customer service, and these motherfuckers can't speak a lick of English, seems like. I hate that. I'm like, God damn it, you're an American company. Why don't you use American fucking people answering the phone? Uh, you know, somebody that speaks fucking English, you know, I mean, I just, why do you got to use some fucking call center in India? Ah, fucking shit, man. It's irritating as fuck, man. Garrett, what's up? I haven't had a bank account in over 20 years, probably. It's been probably over 20 years. And I don't want one. You know, my sister's like, why don't you get a bank account? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know, she just doesn't understand my point of view. So, you know, um, so she just doesn't get why I don't have a bank account. It would be so convenient, you know, it's not that big of a deal, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't fucking want one. I don't want anything to do with banks. Banks are what's ruining the fucking world. The central banking cartels are what has been ruining the fucking world for hundreds of years. You know, the bankers are the problem. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I was sitting there thinking, like when it comes down to solutions, quite honestly, man, what we need to do as Americans, if we really want to get away from it, is start our own banks, start our own banks, start our own currency, our own kind of a currency. You know what I'm saying? These are some ways that we can combat the system that is trying to take control of us. And we need to start taking control of our own destiny. And, you know, like I said, you know, um, yeah, you know, putting everything into trusts, you know, and starting our own fucking banks and our own monies, and networking and um, you know, uh, dealing amongst ourselves instead of with them and in their systems. Because, like I said, the central banking cartels are what's been fucking it up for hundreds of years, man. Um, Fuck the goddamn Rockefellers, man. Fuck the Carnegies, man, the fucking Rothschilds. Fuck those motherfucking families, man. Those fucking bastards, man. That's a whole goddamn bloodline that shouldn't be. I agree, Huckleberry. Bankers and lawyers have fucked it up. And they've done it, you know, for their own benefit, not ours, you know. And that's another thing too, man. You know, some of these corporations, like, okay, you know, this is something that's starting to bug the shit out of me. All right. You know, I haven't really seen it too much here where I'm at, but I've been noticing it. Other people have been noticing it where they're at, that their electricity bill is starting to go up, and they haven't been using more electricity. You know, they haven't changed anything in their life to warrant a higher electricity bill. But what it is these data centers that are using so much electricity, and they've got worked out deals with the power companies. And what it is the general public is financing the fucking data centers. That's the reason why the electrical bill is going up. Is because that money that they're charging more on the electrical bill. That money is going to finance the fucking data centers to get them fucking built. That's exact. I mean, and that I'm like, they just look at us as goddamn fucking slave labor. You know, we're our sweat equity, our time and our labor is paying for our enslavement. You know, we're funding our enslavement, and we've got to just that mentality's got to go. That mentality's got to fucking be eradicated from this fucking planet. This idea, that that you know there are some out there that believe that they are our masters and rulers, and everyone else has the obligation just to obey and comply. That mentality has to be eradicated from the fucking planet. And I mean, and I've said this before, yeah, and I've said this before. Um, for those people out there that think that there should be like a depopulation type of scenario, quite honestly, man, all those people need to do the right thing and commit suicide. Maybe even take their whole family out with them. And that would be a good start on depopulation. All those people out there that think that there should be depopulation need to start and live by example by fucking taking out their whole family and committing suicide. That'd be a good start with depopulation. You know what I mean? And leave me the fuck out of it. Because the people that want depopulation, they're not thinking about themselves as being depopulated. They're thinking about everybody else, and they're the ones going to be sitting back, you know, living, you know. But no, what they need to do is live by example. Take their own fucking life. Start with your own self, and that would be the depopulation beginning. Start with yourself. Kind of like the Georgia Guidestones, who said, basically was talking about basically needs to eradicate 90% of the population of the planet. Well, the ones that fucking believe that don't think that they're going to be in that 90%. All right. That's the point. They think they're in the 10%. They're going to be sticking around. They have no problem wiping out 90% of the population of the fucking planet, as long as they're in that 10%. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that 10% are the ones that need to go. And the rest, 90%, could probably live happier future lives. More peaceful. The amount of people bashing and hating on ICE because he said they were going to saying, huh. Dude, I've been watching a couple of these live streams, man. These like, the Antifa protests and the ICE protests which got, Antifa and shit like that, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. And I'm not gonna say this out here on live, but there are things that I've been thinking about that if I had the means to do it, um, there are things that could be done to Antifa. And, you know, and it wouldn't be that hard. It's just a matter of people that, you know, you know, I know this is fantasy crazy talk too. I like some of those, like, the comic book superheroes and shit like that. think we all need to be superheroes, one way or another. Each one of us got our own skill, our own, skill set and all that stuff. We should be taking full advantage of that. And I'm speaking for myself also. But I mean, like I said, man, there's some things that I've been thinking about that could, because I mean, technically, the way I see it, Antifa, when it comes down to that group, how Trump declared them a domestic terrorist group. I'm going to tell you something. They're not a domestic terrorist group. They are in an international terrorist group. All right. And they are not anarchists. They are fascist communists. Okay. That, to be clear, that's what that is. That's what they are. And I think Trump dropped the ball when he declared them domestic terrorist groups. He should declare them an international terrorist group, because then, like the FBI and all that stuff can really do more to that group than they can under the classification of domestic terrorists. Because if they're an international thing, that's a foreign entity attacking us. It's not a domestic entity, it's a foreign entity. So they would have more power to do something about it. But and then it's like, see some of these cities like in Portland and stuff like that, where the cops are getting like the stand down type order, where there are people that are getting hurt, civilians and stuff like just getting hurt, and all that stuff, and the fucking cops ain't doing shit about it. Neither are the fucking, National Guard. They're not doing anything about it. Quite honestly, if, this is how I see it, man, it's like, we, the people of America, have the lawful right to do something about it. If the cops and the government or whatever ain't doing nothing about it, we have the lawful right to do something about it. The only problem is that the government will have this, take the stand. Oh, you guys, they can't do that kind of thing. It's our job. Well, if it's your job, you should need to be fucking doing it. But, but when you guys don't do anything about it, we've got no choice. We've got to do something about it. And but they won't do that. The fucking Antifa shit won't do that down here in Florida, by God. They won't do that in a small town down here in fucking Florida, by God. They won't sit there and fucking play stupid games in the middle of the goddamn road down here in Florida, by God. If they do that shit, they've consented to be a goddamn speed bump. That's what they've done. So they won't do that shit down here in fucking Florida. They'll do that in a goddamn gun-free zone like fucking Portland, in a democratic fucking bullshit fucking hellhole in like Portland. But they won't do that down here in fucking Florida, by God. Fuck all that shit. I know too many fucking rednecks down here who just won't fucking put up with that shit for a second. And gators, alligators down here got to fucking eat. You know what I mean? Alligators got to fucking eat. So. Ringing my bell. Isn't that cool how it's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? New Guru's in here? I didn't see him in there. Oh, New Guru, what's happening, man? You talk about like like what you said, Kate, when it comes down to all the direct deposit type of shit, all these like paid protesters and stuff like that. I would love to be knowledgeable in the hacking scenario and snag all those fucking funds that are coming to all those paid protesters. You know, hack them motherfuckers and take all the goddamn money that's coming to them. That would be something. I wish I had the knowledge to do that, or maybe I just need to find some some mad scientists to go do that have the knowledge, the way to do that shit, or maybe even like scam the scammer type of shit, you know. Like I said, there's a lot of ideas I've got rolling around in my mind, but I don't want to give them any ideas either. I don't want them to use the ideas that I want to use it against them. I don't want them to get that idea and then fucking use that against us. So I've got some ideas. Got some ideas. But I'm not gonna go all the way to fucking Portland and fucking do this shit. But if they come to fucking down here in Florida, by God, motherfucker, by God, I got something for them right there, boy. I got something for your ass, motherfucker. 13 motherfucking people in here. Holy shit. Maybe this is what I need to do, is do these early morning type lives, because I've been getting more people at this time in the morning than any other time for some reason, which is awesome. You know, all us vampires got nowhere else to go, so maybe this is what I need to do. I just need to have a constant supply of firewood, you know, and have these fireside chat scenarios, and you know, for all the vampires and the night owls and shit like that have somewhere to go. You know, that's probably what I need to start doing more of. You know, and I like doing pop up things, random shits. You know what I mean? I'm not really one of those things to have like a schedule. So you know, but uh, usually when I do this anyway at this time in the morning, there's nothing else going on. There's nobody else live. There's nothing else going on or anything like that on YouTube. So I figure I just, you know, uh, fill that space. I would love to intercept all the funds coming from Soros. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like intercept all that fucking money coming from Soros to all those fucking paid motherfuckers, the paid protester type shits. Intercept all that money coming in so they wouldn't get their money, and turn around and use that Soros money that was intercepted for good. You know, wouldn't that be fucking ironic? You know, Soros, the money coming from Soros and all that stuff, end up being the very thing that's funding the 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 uh, the rebellion against him, against himself. Kind of like how we're funding our own enslavement, you know, basically funding the rebellion against the system itself, taking the money that is funding all of that shit, and kind of like a Robin Hood scenario, you know, using that money against the system, using that same money that's being used to pay fuckers to do shit to us, and take that and use it against them. Just turn that fucking flip that script right on them. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be ironic? You know, it's like, where in the fuck are they getting all this money from? Oh, we're stealing it from you. Kind of like, you know, kind of like back in the day when the pirates used to steal and all the goods and gold and all that stuff from the king and the Spanish, and turned around and sold it right back to them for a higher price. You know, wouldn't that be funny? You know, that would be funny. Just like the old pirate days. You know, I go off into those like little. I mean, that would be something though, wouldn't it? All the money and supplies that they're using uh, to to enslave us was stolen from them and then sold back to them at a higher price, and then we'd come out on top and use that for good for the rebellion against the empire. You know, kind of like using the very tools they're using against us to fight them with it, stealing the very weapons they want to kill us with, and turning around, taking those very same weapons and using it against them. That would be glorious. It would be glorious, man. Glorious. Viva la revolution. Viva la revolution. Sitting there, everybody chanting, add oil, add oil, add oil. Yep, in another month. Remember the 5th of November. Bushmaster Chang Gang. Oh, Chang, yeah. Indy, what's up, girl? Good to see you, girl. 3:33, right on the dot. My time, Indy. That's what you do. You popped in at 3:33. That's pretty interesting. This wood's going to last for a minute, but I may have to go over to my uncle's house and snag a couple of pieces of firewood from over his place. But I am definitely going to have to cut some more firewood sometime soon because this is the last of what I have. So sometime in the next few days, I'm definitely going to have to cut some firewood. I want to keep doing the fireside chat type of thing going. You know, such a beautiful night out tonight too. The weather's got a slight chill in the air. Perfect weather for a fire. Perfect weather for a fire. Not too cold, where I don't have to like wear a hoodie or anything like that. Yeah, go over there. It's just sitting there. It is. It is just kind of sitting. He's got a pile of firewood over there at his house, right? It's right next door. And he's not over there, you know. And I don't want to take too much, but I have thought about grabbing a few pieces. Um, but I do need to, like, in the next couple of days or next, this coming week or this weekend or something like that. I do need to find some old oak trees or something like that that needs to be cut down and cut some firewood up, because I actually kind of enjoy this. Since the weather is getting like this right now, this little sitting by the fire thing at night, um, it's actually enjoyable. I love this. I love sitting out here and looking at the stars and next to the fire and it would be nice if I had a bunch of you guys just kind of sitting around the fire, just kind of sitting out here. This is good enough, but I mean, it would be nice if there was like a few of us just sitting around here, sitting here and telling ghost stories or whatever. Because like I said, there's a lot of conversations we just cannot have on the internet, and it's much better to have it face to face. And this is the perfect place to have those type of conversations. It's like sitting around a fire like this. This is like where we're sitting there watching the primitive television right here. This is what I call the primitive television. People used to sit around these things and watch them for hours, hours, and hours, mesmerized by the dancing of the flames. Oh yeah, for sure, Tate. Yeah, I definitely got to cut some more up, but um, I'll replace what I take, put it that way, or help them replace it. My uncle doesn't come around all that often, putting everybody in a trance. Watch the pendulum. you you might get hypnotized. But that's exactly. I mean, I there was one time I was in Ocala National Forest, man, during a rainbow gathering, tripping on acid, man. I mean, I was like, I had like a couple of big doses of liquid LSD in me at the time. And I sat there and watched this one fire for, I mean, probably 5 hours. And I saw a progression, which actually kind of reminded me of like the world of what it's getting into. Because the fire started like a regular organic fire. It just had wood in it. All right. That's how the fire started. And gradually, over the time I sat there and watched it, people would throw stuff in there every so often, and it could be a log, or next thing you know, there was trash that would get thrown in there, or cans and stuff like that, soda cans or beer cans or whatever. So by the time I stopped watching this fucking fire, it reminded me of a post-apocalyptic type of fucking scene. You know what I mean? It didn't look like a natural fire anymore because it had all this other shit in there, like soda cans and all this other shit strung around in there that was burning along in there with it. And I had this huge, like prophetic type of thing going on in my head while I sat there and watched this fire progress into that. And it reminded me of how the world that we are living in, basically, how it's progressing from something natural like this to something more like a fucking um post-apocalyptic fucking desert. And it didn't sit well with me, put it that way. But it was prophetic for me. And plus I was tripping really hard on LSD, so it just it hit me even harder at that time. Matter of fact, I'll wander over there real quick, like, and I'm gonna grab me a couple of pieces and find me a couple of dry pieces or whatever, man. I can get the flames going up a little higher. The wood in here right now is it's gonna last a while, but it's just not got any good large flames to have light. You know what I mean? I got plenty of heat off of it. You know what I mean? But let me go grab a couple of some of those other pieces and stuff, and I can get some light coming off of this thing. Oh shit! Smoke in the eyes. Oh man, smoke right in my fucking eyes. Oh yeah, that's good stuff right there, boy. All right. I'm gonna probably get the flames up where a little bit more. Plus the fire will last a little longer. Oh yeah, get those flames a little bit better. So what's on you guys' mind tonight? Anything? Anything? Anything worth talking about? Any stories? Anything you got? Any stories that you want to hear from me? Uh, got a bunch of stories. I don't know what to talk about though. That's one thing, man. I heard this from an old timer that every gray hair is a recollection, and quite honestly, I've got quite a few recollections. There we go. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Get those flames going a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, feels good. It feels good. sit here and warm my butt up a little bit. Yeah, that those pieces that I just put on there are nice and dry too. Get those flames going up a little bit better. Yeah, it's all oak wood, all oak. I don't like using pine, but it's all oak that I've got in there. This is really cooking. This is good. You know, oak is like the best cooking wood that I know of around here. Anyway, when it comes down to it, it's the best wood to cook on. And you know it lasts longer. Pine will put a good flame, but it also puts off a lot of soot and a lot of smoke, and it doesn't last long. Um, Oak is so much better. It's cleaner. It lasts longer. And I like it when it gets like that. That's nice there. I don't know if we have red oak around here. I've just got regular I think it's white oak around here, just regular oak trees and stuff like that. That's what I got a lot of, you know, like scrub oak and shit like that. That's mostly what I got around here. That's what this stuff is. That's what all this wood is, mostly scrub oak and shit like that. And we had a bunch of it cut down from a lot, you know, from one of the past hurricanes and stuff. A lot of the trees came down and shit like that. So we did cut a bunch of trees up and borrowed a wood splitter from one of our neighbors and split a bunch of it up. Oh, I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm sitting not that far away from it, but I'm sitting kind of a good distance away from it. I'm trying not to have my camera too close to the fire, but um, you know, and I mean, you know, this is nice, man. I mean, you know, I can see perfect weather, you know, to sit by and enjoy the heat off of it, you know. It feels good. Got some I don't know if I'll do it tonight, but I've got some hamburgers sitting there thawing out in my refrigerator right now. And I don't know, um I might do it tomorrow, but uh and I don't know. I don't know if I'll do it over this type of fire. I'll probably on that on that um propane uh, cooktop that I built. I'll probably cook them on that tomorrow. Now I think about it. See, I love it when the flame gets like that. You know, that's much better. You know, puts off a lot more light and puts off a lot of heat. You know, the way I built this fire pit thing, I've got a hole right down in the middle, down at the bottom, and I've got air coming in from the bottom, feeding this thing. You know what I mean? So that's why it doesn't get the air mostly from the top. It gets it mostly from the bottom, underneath everything. That's how I've got the airflow flowing into it. Yeah, live oak. Well, I mean, like I said, a lot of trees around here got screwed up from the hurricanes and stuff like that. So there's a lot of dead trees back there in the woods and stuff. Most of it's pine trees though, but there's a lot of trees that got damaged and killed or whatever from the hurricane. So it's just a matter of getting out there with a damn chainsaw and cutting it up and hauling it out and splitting it, and that's the only thing. Um, but eventually, I got to do that sometime in the future, sometime this winter, sometime soon, whatever. I got to get some more done so I can continue doing my little fireside chat things and because I enjoy doing this. The past couple of times that I've done this so far, man, this is actually kind of nice. You know, yeah, mostly the oak around here is like what a lot of I think that's what mostly of the deer kind of live off of, the acorns and stuff like that around here. It's a major food source for the deer around here. And the woodpeckers. Woodpeckers, man. I mean, see the woodpeckers, that'll get one of those acorns in their beak and they'll stuff it in a knot of a tree and they'll sit there and crack it open and I'll sit there and watch them sit there. They'll put that little nut right in the damn crack of or they'll like right in the crook of a tree or something like that, or a knot of a tree or something, and crack open the acorns and stuff to get something to eat. It's fun to watch them. Yeah, I mean, for an acorn, they're pretty, I guess, for an acorn, and they're edible. I mean, you can make actually flour like bread. You can make bread. You can make flour out of the acorns and make bread out of it. Um, so I mean, there is that. I mean, it's edible. They're edible. I mean, um, you got to put some kind of seasoning in it because I mean, they don't really taste all that great. But I mean, you can grind them all up, make a flour out of it, and make bread out of it and stuff like that. That's what the uh, that's what the Seminole Indians and stuff like that used to do around here back in the day. That's how they did that. There's a lot of the natural um, plant life and stuff like that they would, utilize and stuff all around, all the indigenous plant life and stuff like that. They had uses for almost everything that grew out here naturally. Yeah, I mean, Tate, I'm gonna tell you, man, the deer will eat. Well, put it this way, you put corn out for them and stuff like that, because my uncle, I got a lot of family around here that like to hunt deer and stuff, and they put corn out there for them to eat and stuff like that, so like matter of fact, there's a couple of deer feeders Just over the hill over there in the woods and stuff. That the last time my uncle was here, um, set that up. So get them all kind of acclimated to the deer feeder and stuff. And so the next time he comes down, which will be probably closer to Thanksgiving, because technically that's hunting season around. We fucking want to. It's our fucking property as far as I'm concerned. It's like fuck them, fuck that goddamn game warden. What they don't know won't hurt them. But he probably won't come back. Um, you know, until closer to Thanksgiving, and see if we can get some deer. I mean, I've seen two bucks that have been wandering around every so often, man. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, it's probably because I'm out here right now, but they'll be walking around out there, off, out that direction, down the hill, and the dogs would go crazy because they'll hear them out there walking around and shit. They'll sit out there and start barking at them and stuff. I did a video not too long ago. Actually, I saw them two bucks out there, and Little Bit was just out there, just kind of, and she get sort of close. Golden Gate, what's going on? She get kind of close out there, just kind of watching them and stuff. It was kind of funny. She was like, I was like, I don't know if she's gonna make friends with the deer or not, but she's like, what the hell are those things over there? What are you doing, Little Bit? What are you doing? How you doing, girl? You okay? Yeah, you all right? Yeah. Sitting over here by the fire, staying warm with me, huh? Staying warm over here by the fire, man, huh? Yeah. Yeah, actually, man, I'm gonna tell you, like, the old barrels and stuff, liquor barrels and stuff like that. Oak is, that's the best, best wood to use. Seasons real good over time. Really good and stuff. Yeah, yeah, baby. Yeah, my little bit, my little bit. I don't know if you guys can see her. I'm a little bit right here. You see her? I don't know if you can. Yeah, okay, you can see her a little bit right there. Get her. Get a little on camera. Trying to sit in my fucking lap, and I'm just like, man, she's getting big now. I'm like, God dang, you're getting so big, you can't sit in my lap anymore. Like your mama. Your mama's so damn big, she can't get in my lap no more because you guys are getting so big. You're not puppies no more. You're not little girl. You're not a little peppy no more. No, you're a big girl now, like your mama. You're getting big like your mama. Yep. You're not a puppy no more. Oh man, I was sitting there at Golden Gate. I'm gonna tell you something. I was talking to my buddy again today. I was sitting there talking to him on the phone today, and he's like, "Man, we need to get over here." And I told him, I was like, when the weather gets a little cooler, we're gonna get over here. I'm gonna take my antenna down, my tower down, and I got to fix the antenna, and I got to move the tower and everything over here to this new place. and I got to come up with a power supply. And because he's like, man, I'm getting bored. I need to get you back on the radio again, you know, and because he got his daughter to move out of the house and stuff, so he's all by himself at the house, and you know, he gets lonely. So he calls me up more often than he used to, and we used to talk every single day when I had the radio hooked up and stuff. And he's like, "Man, we need to get that damn thing fixed and hooked up, man, so you can get me back on the radio again." And I just need to get off my ass and do it and get me a power supply and get everything moved over and stuff. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like I'm kind of waiting for it to cool off just a little bit, so I'm not up on that damn tower and stuff working on that shit in the heat of the day. So that's one of the things I'm kind of waiting on right now. And but I gotta fix the antenna also when I get it down. I gotta do some repairs to the Mako 5/8, and then I gotta decide where I want to put the tower and put the tower back up, put the antenna back up, hook the coax up, and find me a power supply, and and I'll get back on the air. Right on. Well, if you happen to hear number three out there in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, tell them Wingnut Radio said hi. Um, I haven't talked to him in a long time. He's kind of a nutcase, but I used to talk to him quite often. Well, actually, we used to watch the NASCAR races and stuff together and talk to each other on the radio while we're watching the race. Back when actually we were watching it mostly for when Danica Kirkpatrick was racing and stuff, we'd watch it and shit. I like Danica, but uh, I don't know. But that was the thing I loved about it. I mean, I can talk to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, all the way from all the way over here in Florida, like we were next door neighbors when the conditions are good, and we sit there and talk for hours. You know, but he's a weird one. But if you happen to hear number three repeater out there in Saskatoon, tell him Wingnut Radio said hi. Uh, yeah, I enjoy the conditions when it gets like that. Golden Gate, I do. You haven't heard him in a while? Yeah, I don't know what he's been up to. I haven't talked to him. I mean, I haven't been on the air in a while, but I mean, I haven't talked to him in a while either. But he's a character for sure. But all us radio operators are kind of a character anyway, aren't we? Yeah, I mean, and I'll have to agree. I'm gonna tell you, it's kind of nice, the quiet of the night and just a little crackle of the fucking wood burning and stuff like that. It's kind of nice out here. It's mid 60s, Southeast Texas. Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. Has it been the mid 60s during the day? Or is it like mid 60s at night and stuff like that? I mean, because I mean, during the day here, I mean, it's still been around in the 80, 85, somewhere around there. That's where it's been during the daytime. And that's in the shade on my thermometer in the shade. It hasn't been in the sun. It hasn't been in the sun itself, but that's in the shade. Oh, at night. Yeah. I don't even know what the temperature is right now. I haven't even looked at the thermometer. Matter of fact, let me wander over there and look at the thermometer. I'll tell you what temperature it is right now. Well, right this moment, the thermometer says it's about 63, 64, somewhere around there. That's what it is right now. So it's, like I said, that's to me, that's like this is just right around the perfect type of temperature for sitting around a fire. I remember back, hey, Golden Gate, I'll tell you this, back in the old days, I remember back when I was a kid, when I lived in Orlando, we used to go down to Daytona and New Smyrna. You used to be, it was still legal to have bonfires out there on the beach. We used to be able to drive on the beach. You used to be able to have bonfires and stuff like that. Not anymore, but back when I was a kid, it was like that. That was fun. Yeah, they don't have any spots like that anymore. You can't drive on the beach anymore either. You can't drive on the beach. You can't have fires on the beach anymore. And it's, it's been all kind of outlawed since I was a kid. But, we used to go out there at night and have bonfires and shit and park the truck out there and go fishing and shit like that at night. It was fun. I enjoyed myself back then. That was back when I actually enjoyed the beach. Nowadays, I can't stand the beach. I just don't even like the beach anymore. I don't even bother with the beach anymore. If I want to go out to go swimming or anything like that. I usually I'm going out on these freshwater springs. There's a lot of freshwater springs dotted all over Florida, and there's a lot of them around where I'm at. And that if I want to go out, like that's what I'll do because I prefer fresh water versus salt water. I'd rather deal with a fucking alligator versus a fucking shark. You know what I mean? I I just love it out there. I love sitting in the woods. There's much more shade out there on the creeks and the rivers and fucking springs and stuff. You got fresh water. You got a lot more animals and stuff like that all around you, and it's nicer. It's just nicer. I just can't stand the beaches, man. Most of the stuff down here in Florida, especially in the Panhandle and all that stuff down on all the beaches along Florida, it's all fucking a tourist trap nowadays, and I can't stand it. There's just no shade. There's just you get sand in fucking places you never thought you could get sand in, and the salt water, and then you gotta you don't I don't like going too far offshore, it's because like then you're like asking to be shark bait. I just fucking I'm so over the beaches nowadays. I just don't even care about them anymore. I'd rather stick inside inland to the freshwater springs. That's where it's at for me. Fucking Florida, I'm telling you, man, all the goddamn stupid Yankee fucks coming in, all the fucking snowbirds from fucking Canada coming down and stuff like that, ruin it. All the damn, all the tourists and shit ruin Florida, in my opinion. But but that's just me. I'm a Florida boy, so I mean, I yeah, there's a quite a few places, man. Take when it comes down to sandbars and stuff. There's quite a few places on the rivers around here, like right on the bend of the rivers and stuff, man. A lot of times they'll be like on the inside of the bend. There'll be like a small beach right there on the river, and I know a lot of places like that where it's just like hardly anybody goes to, and you just pull your kayak up on that sucker, man. Pitch yourself a tent and fucking camp for the night and stuff. You know, it's nice. I mean, I enjoy it. I haven't done this in a long time, man. It's been quite a few years, but um, I can go way upstream, like way upstream of the fucking river, and there's a few rivers, man. You can just basically go downstream, just let the current take you, and and you can basically be on the river for like 2 days. You know what I mean? And it'll take you out, and it'll dump right out into the bay. You know what I mean? And I've done that before, where I'll park my truck down where I'm going to get out at, and I'll get somebody to take me and my kayak and drop me off way, way, way up fucking stream, way up fucking up the river, and and then I'll just do like a 2 day type of thing. It's like one day, just nothing but fucking just basically letting the current take me, and then find a spot to camp that night, and then camp that night, and then the next day just go on down, and then to where I parked the truck, and then go on home. I mean, that was fun. I enjoyed doing that kind of stuff, man. I haven't done that in a long time though. It's been quite a few years since I've done that. I'm not really worried about snakes too much. Me personally, I've got like kind of like an organic radar for snakes, like and I'll tell you this, man. Me personally, I mean, snakes don't bother me. If I know they're there, but I don't know where they're at, that's when they kind of worry me a little bit, because I mean, it's like, okay, I know they're there, but I just don't know exactly where they're at. Yeah, that's the only time. But other than that, I don't really mind. And plus, you know, I'm the type of guy, if I see a fucking rattler or something like that, I'm taking his head off anyway. I don't care. That's just the way I am. If it's poisonous, and it comes near me, it's basically gonna get its head cut off. But I don't really, I don't really, like I said, I used to have, it definitely needs to be renewed, but I used to be a certified scuba diver, and I've done scuba diving out in the ocean and shit like that. And oh man, I'm gonna tell you, man, the sharks are the only thing that really, um, I do not like sharks. um, them suckers have come out of fucking nowhere, man, and I don't like dealing with sharks. I'd rather deal with alligators and snakes, personally. Uh, I don't like dealing with sharks. Sharks are fucking, I don't know. They're just not something I want to mess around with too much. What was it? Um, what was it? It was down, shit, down south toward Miami. What was it? Oh fuck. Um, oh crap. I can't remember where exactly it was, but it was like somewhere south down toward Miami. We used to go scuba diving out there on the coral reef out there. You go about, I don't know, about 5 miles offshore or something like that, and go scuba diving on the coral reef. And uh, I remember I was sitting there, I was trying to tickle a lobster out of some coral, and a big motherfucking nurse shark come flying over top of me, man. I mean, you see the shadow off of the from the because I was, because it went over me, and all I saw when I was sitting there like tickling this lobster out, I see this shadow, kind of like an airplane shadow. That's the first thing that came through my mind when I saw this. I saw this big fucking shadow go right over me, and it was like the size of a fucking airplane. And I look up and I see, because I was diving with my brother and my dad, and they're like pointing, and I look up where they're fucking pointing, and it's this big, I mean, huge motherfucking nurse shark just fucking swimming right over top of me. I was like, holy shit, man. Uh, Kind of freaked me out for a second there. Because at the time I didn't realize what kind of shark it was, but it was just big. I mean, literally, this thing put a shadow like it was a fucking airplane going over you. Um, but we used to have fun. We used to, what was that? God, I can't remember where that was. That was, it was down south, down by down toward Miami somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it was, but anyway, we used to do that. Hunting lobster a lot back when I was younger. I remember one time, man, me and a bunch of guys, a bunch of guys, when I was living in North Carolina at the time, and and it was a trip that a bunch of us that were in Boy Scouts at the time that kind of worked out a trip to where we could go down to Key West and do like a lobster weekend type of thing. And I'm serious. Most of the boys that I was going with had just never been out of the fucking county, So you know, going from North Carolina down to Key West, Well, actually, we ended up staying, what was it, Marathon Key, um, right there. We had a trailer, like a camper trailer or whatever, that we pulled behind the trucks and stuff, and that's where we stayed. And we just park it right there next to the bridge, right there, like Big Pine and Marathon Key and stuff. And we dive right there next to the bridge and shit like that. Like all the pylons going for the bridges and stuff. All the coral and stuff are just right there on the pylons and stuff. We'd just go out there and just and find all kinds of lobster in the coral and shit. And we ate like kings because during like a lobster weekend, you can get two lobster per person per day. And you think about, like, there's five of us, and we had a shitload of lobster that we were eating that weekend. um, we found an old car hood on the bottom of the on the bottom down there by the bridge, and flipped that upside down, and came back like a few hours later, and then found, like, I don't know, I think there was like 20. It was, most of them weren't big enough, but it was probably like 20 lobster ended up hiding up underneath that car hood by the time we got back. And I had a lot of fun doing that shit. That was fun. I haven't been scuba diving in a long time though, but I'd have to get recertified if I really wanted to do it again and get equipment again. I sold all my stuff. I had two tanks of BC and regulators and gauges and wetsuit and mask, fins, snorkel, everything. I had the whole thing. I ended up fucking selling everything. Yeah, it's 4:23 over here, Indy. So in about 2 more hours, sun's gonna start coming up over here. But I can smoke right in my eyes. God damn. Boy, that's a hot fire too. That is hot. That is a hot fire right there, man. Them coals are fucking hot. Oh man. West Palm Beach, that's where it was. West Palm Beach, down there by Miami, down toward Miami. West Palm Beach is where we used to do a lot of diving and stuff. God, I finally remembered what it was. It was West Palm Beach. Golly, man, my memory sucks sometimes, man. It's like I gotta really search through so many damn card catalogs in my brain just to find things. I got stuff stuffed away in my brain somewhere. It's like trying to figure out the right fucking card catalog to search to find shit sometimes. It's like, my mind is a mess sometimes just trying to remember shit. West Palm Beach, that's what it was. Oh man, I hate that. You were the, you were this close from going live, huh, Huckleberry? What were you gonna do? You know, hell, you never talk. You know, it's like, what are you gonna do? Just sit there? I can't. Damn. It's like goddamn pulling teeth to get you to talk, Huckleberry. Shit, what are you gonna do? Just sit there and go live and fucking uh uh text in the chat? I'm serious, Nana. I've got a whole bunch of card catalogs that are sitting in my goddamn brain, and sitting there flipping through all the goddamn shit, just trying to figure out find stuff. That's how my brain works. I don't know, Golden Gate. I don't know if there's anybody else in the chat that are into it, like in a hobby, like we are in a sense. There's a few people in here want to get into it on the because they're on that prepper type mindset. You know what I mean? But um, I don't know if anybody else really is into the radio kind of thing, like a hobby, like we are. Uh, I mean, I might be wrong, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think anybody is. But like I said, Andy, she wants to learn mostly, because she wants to learn on because she's got that prepper type mindset. You know what I mean? It's like that communications is a major part of the prepping, or and all that stuff. So she wants to learn for that reason, for sure. And Wolverine, yeah. Um, Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there when it comes down to radio stuff, man. It just depends on what exactly you want to use it for and the type of conditions, like, your local area where you're at, what you have to deal with when it comes down to, and uh, what you would want to use it for, how far between you and the other person you want to talk to, and all that kind of stuff. Um, Emergency comms and Chaka, what's up? I love seeing all you guys, all the night owls and the vampires popping in. This is pretty awesome. I love it. And, it's almost bedtime. Well, I get it. Me personally, I'll probably go to bed, before the sun comes up. Just because like I said, it's like 4:30 here. The sun will probably come up around and start coming up around 6, and that's probably around the time when I'll probably go to bed for a few hours, give me a few hours of sleep. Because I mean, I took a nap earlier tonight, and also last night I was up. I was doing this last night, the same thing last night, and pretty much right when I shut the stream off last night, or yesterday morning, um, uh, and I went into the house. Um, the sun was just starting to come up, and I slept until about 11:30, almost noon, today or yesterday or whatever, technically. And I took a small nap, in the afternoon sometime. And but sometime during the week, I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but sometime during the week, I've got to go up to the goddamn fucking tax office and pay my extortion fee for my fucking little sticker on my fucking tag. Um, so I've got to do that sometime in the next week or so. Um, which I'm not looking forward to, but I've got to do. I hate that shit that, paying that fucking extortion fee every fucking year. I got to pay rent every fucking year just to fucking drive my vehicle on the goddamn roads. I hate that shit, man. Because I've got to commit fraud every time, when I want to fucking drive out here. I got to claim that I'm a driver. I got to claim that my automobile is a fucking motor vehicle, just so I don't get harassed by these fucking redneck cops around here and shit. You know, I hate that shit. You know, I hate the converting my fucking natural right into a fucking privilege where I got to pay rent on it every fucking year. I hate it, man. But, it's getting around my birthday time. I'll be 51 pretty soon. So I just got the thing in the mail just recently saying I got to go fucking renew my fucking tag. I got to make my way to the fucking tax office and pay my goddamn extortion fee. You know, 40 goddamn dollars for a little goddamn sticker to put on your fucking, to put on my tag. 40 fucking dollars for that little goddamn sticker. It's fucking insane, dude. Yeah, and that mandatory insurance, or at least, like a insurance and a bond, it's a good thing, so like for instance, if there's an accident or whatever, at least I have that to take care of any damages or anything like that. But when they made it mandatory, that's, to me, is a fucking it is a freaking scam, because insurance companies don't have to worry about ever, when it comes down to revenue. They don't have to ever worry about revenue because they've got laws making it mandatory to get a service. You know, that's it's now, by law, it's mandatory to get a service. You know what I mean? And so they don't ever have to worry about revenue if the fucking government makes it mandatory for everybody to get their service. And it is a scam. You know, Northwoods, what are you doing? What's going on? What are you doing, little bit? What are you doing? What's going on? You wanting to sit in my lap a little bit? Is that what you want to do? You wanting to sit in my lap? Hmm? Mm, 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 Get in my lap. No? Okay. You know, and I'm gonna tell you something, Wolverine. If the fucking, the climate change freaks do get their way, we will be taxed just to breathe. Just to breathe. Because they'll be saying, "Oh, well, it's the Clean Air Act or some shit like that," and well, we've got to tax everybody for the Clean Air Act. So, now if you want to breathe, you got to be fucking pay. You got to pay rent just to fucking breathe. Fuck all that goddamn shit, man. I'm so sick and tired of fucking, these getting taxed the fucking hell out of us, man. I mean, what's going to stop them from taking 100% of our earnings that we make, 100% of it, you know? I mean, quite honestly, that's where they want to go, to that point where basically we have to pay a tax just to exist on this goddamn planet, you know? I mean, seriously, something, and I put out there in the universe. I asked the universe to help us out. I'm like, listen, come on now. We need something on a biblical fucking scale to fucking take these fucking psychopaths out so we can live free like we're supposed to be. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a part of me, even Golden Gate will know. It's like when it comes down to the solar flares and all that shit. There's a part of me that actually I want the sun to fucking put off a huge solar flare and just knock everything out. There's a part of me that wants that to happen. You know, kill the fucking digital fucking bullshit. You know, kind of like a Fight Club thing. Just fucking erase the fucking debt. Erase it altogether. Yeah. Well, Gates is definitely one of them. I mean, seriously, I honestly, I think when Gates got that pie in the face, that's when he fucking turned fucking evil. I think when he got that pie in the face, he was like, I just want to kill everybody. I think that's what happened. He got the pie in the face, and then he just went fucking complete fucking evil after that. And it's quite possibly he was evil before then, but I think right then that's when he decided, I just want everybody dead. That kind of shit. My bell. Now think about it. I have not fucked around. You know what? I will be back 1 minute. I'm gonna go over and grab my didgeridoo and maybe sit here and play a little bit. I don't know. Be right back. Now I have not played this motherfucker in a long time, so I mean, it might take me a minute to get back in the groove of this thing. But I have not played this in a while. Yeah. I got to get my lips warmed up. Shit. I haven't played in a long time, man. And plus, I smoke a hell of a lot. Trying to get my damn breathing back down. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. Shit. It's freaking out a little bit, man. She hasn't heard me play this didgeridoo, and she's like freaking out. Oh, fuck. What? Why are you guys freaking out? Damn, they're crawling on. My dogs are crawling all over me like they're fucking freaking out or something. Ah. Fuck. God damn, it's been a while since I played this. I need to get back in the groove. I haven't done this in a long time. Ah. Blah, 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 blah. Oh shit, man. I used to play this on the street for tips. Actually, when I was homeless, I'd just sit on the fucking street corners and fucking sidewalks and shit in town and stuff in different towns and stuff. Play this on the street for tips. And I really need to actually probably need to do redo my mouthpiece over here. This because I mean the mouthpiece I did out of wax and stuff. I mean probably redo it and get back into doing it because actually, man, I smoke too damn much now. It's like my breathing is not like it used to be, and breath is life, and um, you really have to get into a mental state, really, when it comes down to the circle breathing part of it, and it took me a long time to actually figure out how to do circle breathing. And then on top of that, man, it'd be nice, you know. Yeah, I used to play with these two girls and stuff, man, that did like percussion and stuff, and drumming and stuff like that. You have that drum in the background with this didgeridoo, like kind of like that carpet of fucking sound in the background. It was pretty cool. I'm not sure how the microphone is picking this up, so I mean, I'm not sure how well it sounds, but oh fuck. Damn, it's been a while. Shit, I'm sorry, y'all. It's driving me nuts, man, because I used to go on for a long time. I used to be able to keep this up for a while. I haven't done it in a long time. You know, in a way, Huckleberry, um, it definitely, uh, it definitely does something to me mentally. I could tell you that. Um, like I said, I used to. Oh, this is years ago. I don't really play the Didge all that much anymore, but um, I used to play it a lot, and it does get you into like a meditative state almost. And I used to be able to. I haven't, like I said, I haven't done it in a long time, but I used to do all kinds of stuff. I used to be able to talk through it. I used to make noises like a rooster or a chicken sounds, and like I used to do all kinds of like bird noises, and um, I could bark like a dog. I mean, um, I um, like when I was in Gainesville, I remember I was in Gainesville, Florida, and I was sitting on the sidewalk, right in this storefront, and it was already closed. The only thing that was open at that time was a nightclub, and I'd sit in this storefront and play the didge and stuff like that for tips. I'd have like a little hat sitting out in front of me with some change in it, really to kind of give the idea, for people to throw me some change in there and stuff like that. And you see all the people that are walking. They would walk down the sidewalk, walking past me. Mostly, in Gainesville, it's like a lot of college students and stuff like that. Or like in Tallahassee, you got a lot of FSU students, and in Gainesville, you got a lot of the was it um, a lot of the college students for that too. That would go to the nightclubs and shit like that. And I'd catch all of them while they're walking to the club, and they wouldn't really pay attention to me. You know what I'm saying? But they'd spend their night in the club and all that shit, and I'd still be out there by the time, they start leaving. A lot of them are kind of fucked up, and I mean drunk or whatever, coming out of the club, and they're like, "Holy shit, you still here? Here's a dollar," that kind of shit. And but then you get some of the assholes and shit like that that want to fuck with you and stuff like that. I used to be able to, I could cuss you out through the didgeridoo. You know, you wouldn't know I was doing it, but I could sit there, I'd be cussing your fucking ass out while I'm playing. You know what I mean? And like I could talk through it. And but I did that all over the place. You know, there was a lot of a lot of towns and stuff through when I was traveling around the U.S. Um, I go from a town, kind of, make a little bit of money there, and and then move on to the next town. And Lady Red, what's going on? And then I you know do that all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And college towns were 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 pretty cool. You know, I mean, because I'd catch a lot of the college students and stuff like that and shit like that. I can make pretty good money just playing music on the street. But that was a long time ago. I don't know if I could do that today. You know what I mean? It was different time back when I was younger, when I was doing it, because I was in my early 20s. Um, you know, I was, 19, 20, 25, somewhere around, around those times when I was doing that. And it was a different time back then. It seemed like, when it comes down to just, playing music on the street and for tips. Um, and like I said, I mean, when I lived in Tallahassee, I knew, no, this was in Gainesville, actually. Gainesville, when I lived in Gainesville, um, uh, I knew these girls that used to play like hand drums, like percussions and stuff. And so you'd get, you get that drum beat, going, and then the didgeridoo and stuff like that. It actually sounded pretty good. Um, there was one time I did an open mic um, with these girls. One of them played a hand drum, and the other girl, she did something similar to a clogging like dance. And we set up like a wood platform that she can dance on, and put a microphone underneath that to you know it was like her feet were percussions. So you had a foot percussion and hand percussions, and plus the didgeridoo, that which I had going through like an effects processor through the PA. And I mean, in that little coffee house, like I said, it was almost like my didgeridoo was kind of like it made like a carpet of sound through that whole, kind of just like vibrated through that whole coffee house. It was actually pretty cool. But it took me a long time, actually, man. When I used to live in Asheville, North Carolina, I used to know this guy that carried a didgeridoo everywhere he went, and and he used to play it a lot. And I I asked him one day if I could try it out, and and I got kind of a cool sound out of it, and and it got me hooked. And so I was like, well, shit, man, I'm gonna try and figure out how to do this circle breathing, because the circle breathing, basically what it is you're constantly blowing out your mouth to make the sound. At the same time, you're breathing in through your nose. So you're like breathing in through your nose, constantly blowing out your mouth. That's what the circle breathing is. And it's a mind fuck. I mean, seriously, it took me, shit, I think it took almost 4 years to figure it out. And I finally got down to the point where the how to figure it out, if you ever want to learn, is what you got to do is got to forget on how you learned how to breathe. You got to forget that and relearn it. You got basically got to relearn how to breathe, you know, and that's the tricky part, because you're born and you got this like unconscious type of thing on breathing. You don't really think about breathing, do you? Because it's like an unconscious thing that you do. But when it comes down to actually forgetting all that and relearning it, it's a mind fuck. You know what I mean? It's a mental state. So on your question earlier, Huckleberry, it does it's kind of like a meditation. Um, and like I said, breath is life. So it's all about breathing and and getting into that mental state. See, that's the thing about me. I mean, even when I was doing like hallucinogens back in the day, like LSD and shit like that. All right. I was not the type of guy, that would do that kind of thing to get fucked up. That was not my goal. My goal was to um um expand my uh, consciousness, or whatever you want to call it. Um, there's a lot of ancient cultures that that um, communicating with the spirit realm was a real thing, and it is a real thing. It's just that you've got to train yourself and practice and to actually do it. Yeah, harmonica is a different story too. I mean, now harmonica, I never learned harmonica. I never was good at that. I tried it out. I had a couple of harmonicas. I think I had a C. Um, I think I had a C mostly. I think a C, and what was the other one? It might have been an A. I don't know. I can't remember. But I never really got good at it. Um, but I didn't practice all that much either. Now I think about it, but um, I don't know. All right. Well, what I'm going to do now, I think about it, is I'm going to grab a couple more pieces of wood and to get the flame going again. I'll be right back. Here, I'm going to play some more, I guess. Now that I got the damn didgeridoo out, man, I can play some more. Oh, Teresa, what's going on? Didn't see you come in. Rip. Ah, fuck. Damn it. Billy? Holy crap. Good to see you. Morning. Holy crap. Ah, I got to get my damn lips warmed up or something, man. I got to get my lips all vibrating enough. Got to get my lips loosened. Ow! What are you scratching me for? What are you scratching me for? Huh? Ah, fuck it. Ah, I'll fuck around with it later. But uh, I'll have to definitely play with it a little bit more. Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, I mean, I haven't done it in a long time, y'all. I honestly, I haven't played the Dig in a while. Chaka, it's been a while since I played it, but I've been playing. I learned how to play Dig back when I was in my early 20s. Um, I figured out how to do the circle breathing back then. Like I said, I mean, I when I was homeless, living on the street and stuff, I used to play it on the street for tips and stuff back in the day. But it's been a long time since I've actually even picked that thing up. Matter of fact, this is a piece of bamboo that is 20 years old. Now I think about it. This piece of bamboo that I'm using right now is 20, no, actually older than that. That's closer to 30 years old. That piece of bamboo is closer to 30 years old. And matter of fact, that was I cut that piece of bamboo myself. Stop scratching me, girl. Why are you scratching me? Huh? Why are you scratching me? Them damn sharp ass fucking nails of yours. Why are you scratching me? Why are you scratching me? Huh? Why are you scratching me? Fucking sharp ass fucking claw and nails you have. You're lucky I don't cut them suckers off. Yeah. You're scratching the hell out of me. Since I haven't played it in a long time, that's the thing. That's the reason why I'm not doing like I want to actually, it's because I haven't played it in quite a few years actually. I haven't really sat down and played it in quite a few years. And I'm out of practice. So, but at one time I used to make didgeridoos and stuff like that and try and sell them. But it's hard to find pieces of bamboo this size, quite easily. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll keep on practicing a little bit. Like I said, it's been a while. Mm. Actually, I need to put some more wax on this fucking mouthpiece and reshape it a little bit. Need to make that hole a little bit big, a little bit smaller like it used than it is now. Get some beeswax and fucking reshape that thing. Ah, fuck. All right. I'll fuck with that one. I'll fuck around with it later, some other time. I'll get with it. I'll fuck around with it later. What's going on, little bit? What's going on? What? What are you, hmm? 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 What's going on, little girl? Hmm? Quit scratching me. Fuck. Stop digging your nails into me. Telling you. Quit scratching me, you little shit. Quit fucking digging your nails into me, dummy. God dang. You have a good morning, Chaka. Oh man, what are you guys talking about? All right. Community. You know, I don't even really consider all of us as in a community. I just think we're just a bunch of people that gravitated to each other. That's how I see it. For some reason, we gravitated to each other. I don't even really like the term community for some reason, man, because I've seen a lot of communities that really are not really communities. They don't really communicate. They fucking bicker most of the time. I don't know. Just a bunch of people that fucking gravitate to each other like magnets. We gravitate to each other like fucking magnets. And it's quite awesome. It's quite possibly that we all knew each other in past lives, and that's the reason why our paths have crossed again. Quite possibly. Billy, I'm gonna tell you, because I mean, I've seen a lot of so-called communities. Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, I've been really following and keeping up with the movement of like cop watching and shit like that. Like they call it First Amendment auditors now, but we were just cop watchers back in the day, and that movement has been growing when cell phones and cameras in everybody's pocket, became a thing. Um, and they want to say that's the First Amendment community or the cop watch community, quote unquote. It ain't no fucking community. It's just a bunch of people that kind of gravitate to each other and a bunch of people kind of, on the same interests and stuff like that. Not everybody gets along. Not everybody's fucking trustworthy. So I don't really look at it as a community. It's like even the prepper community, quote unquote. I don't even really see it as a community. It's just a lot of people that gravitate to each other and have same common interests, you know. And like I said, on the metaphysical end of it, it's quite possible we all knew each other in past lives. That's the reason why our paths have crossed again in this life. I mean, it's very possible. We probably all knew each other back in like 1300 and fucking 42 or some shit like that. Kindred spirits. Yeah, for sure. You know, yeah, you gotta realize, there's a reason, and everybody knows that is true. There is a reason our paths have crossed, and so I look at it like this. It's like it's quite, it is a, we our paths have crossed before because everything that can and will happen has already happened. So it's a good possibility that our paths have crossed in past lives in one time or another, and that's the reason why our paths keep on crossing again, because there is a reason that we are brought together. We all gravitate to each other for some reason. Yeah, and I mean, and I look at it on that level, Wolverine. I really do, and Tate, I really do think that there is that is, um, even if it wasn't on this universe, in this verse that we're living in now, it's quite possibly that our paths crossed in other verses, um, you know, and other lives, and in that other version of ourselves in that other verse. Um, I used to know this kid, God, I mean, I used to, um, what was his name? It might have been Frog. There's this kid I used to know we called Frog. But anyway, there was one time, man, we were in a gathering in the national forest and fucking, I swear to this day, I had visions of me and him back in like, I don't know, like the dark ages type timeline, and we knew each other then. And and he had the same feeling in a sense when it comes down to me and him personally. And it was just weird. I was like, and that is the reason why we connected again in this life is because we were friends in a past life also, and knew each other then, and we keep bumping into each other in many different lives and many different verses. And for some reason, I don't know why, but that's what it ends up happening. But you know, because there's so many people on this world, that our paths never cross. There's a lot of people that I that we never cross paths with, and that is for a reason also. You know, and it's not just because of geographic location or whatever, whatever, whatever. There's a reason for that. Um, and so algorithms. Well, uh, you know, Indy. I mean, it's not just because I wouldn't say that, because quite honestly, you know, I have had this in my mind before the internet was even a thing. Just by people that I meet personally, people that I've come across in my life in all my travels and stuff like that. Um, you know, and some people, I keep in contact with. Some people I don't. And I'm just not the type of person to like, keep in contact with people either. I'm just not that type of person. I don't write people letters. I don't call them up all the time. Even my family. You know what I mean? Um, like my buddy John, he gets on my ass all the time. He's like, why don't you call? Why don't you do that? Da, 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 da," that kind of thing. I'm just, I just, I'm just not, I just don't do that all that often. Sometimes I do, but it's just very rarely, you know, like, um, like even the people I went to school with and I went to many different schools in my life. And even the people I went to school with, I don't have any of those people that I keep in contact with. I kind of envy some of those people out there that have had the same friend since like fucking elementary school and kept in contact with them ever since. I kind of envy those people, but I don't have that in my life. I've never, like I don't have any of those people that I went to school with that I keep in contact with. At one time I tried to. There was one of my best friends, Summer, that I went to school with in middle school, and she was like one of my best friends, and uh, lost contact with her for like 20 years, and then all of a sudden, I she found me or something like that. I can't remember exactly how. Well, what it was, I can't. What was it? It was another one of my best friends, Donnie. This guy named Donnie. Um, he found me somehow, and he knew Summer. He kept in contact with Summer, and he's like, "I found him. I found him." That kind of shit. And and I got back in contact with her and stuff like that. But then and then I've kind of drifted away again, and I haven't talked to her since. But it's kind of weird, that when it comes down to that, there are people that I've met one time and never seen again. Um, but there are others that, like when I was doing the rainbow gatherings, then when I was doing that back in the day, it was kind of weird too. It's like I'd bump into the same person like every so often at a rainbow gathering or some national forest somewhere. I'm like, hey man, what's going on? That kind of shit. It's like it's kind of weird. Um, or like, somebody that I met at a fucking concert or something like that. Next thing you know, I happen to see him at another damn concert years later or something like that. I'm like, oh, what's going on? What's up, man? You know, it's pretty cool. There are people from my past that, I mean, it would be kind of neat to um, come across them again, but I don't know. I might have to go traveling again, and that would probably happen. I'll probably end up bumping into them again somewhere because I knew a lot of, uh, I guess you call them free spirits and stuff back in the day, and you know, and that was the only time we ever came across each other is just on some random fucking, some random thing like out in a national forest somewhere, out in the middle of the goddamn national forest, and like all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, I ain't seen you in fucking years. What's going on? That kind of thing. And it was definitely not no algorithm that did it. So I mean, um, and I don't know. I don't really think it was the algorithm that kind of brought a lot of us together over at Ron's either. You know what I mean? When Ron had his channel, I don't really think it was algorithms that brought a lot of us together. Um, you know what I mean? There's a lot of us that met each other through Ron when he was alive, and I don't really think it was because of algorithms. I don't really think it was. I think we just for some reason gravitated to Ron and oh, go back and read what I said first. Hold on. Right. No, yeah, yeah. I think that's what you were talking about. That one. Never mind, Wingnut. We agree. Fuck it, man. Just fuck it, right? It's like, fuck it, Wingnut. It's like, fuck it, Wingnut. You weren't paying attention anyway, so. Ugh. Oh shit, man. I can see it's starting to get a little light in the sky out here. I mean, in the next 15 or 20 minutes, man, the sun will start coming up over those trees. So, think I'm gonna let this fire die down a little bit more, and then I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. But I'm gonna try and get in the house and stuff like that before the sun comes up, and then I'll try and get me some sleep. And but yeah, it's you know I appreciate all you guys, man. When it comes down to it, I mean, all us little night owls and all us little vampires hanging out and try to sun's come up over there. Yeah, it hasn't. I mean, I can start to see a little bit of light, starting to come up into the sky now. So anytime now, I mean, it's like 5:48 now, so I'm guessing around 6 o'clock. That's when the sun will start poking up over the tree line, and and I can also hear the traffic starting to. I can hear more traffic in the distance and stuff. People getting up and driving around and shit like that. But no, I'm not sure what I'm going to do today. Like I said, I'm probably just going to go to bed and sleep for a few hours and then probably get up. Uh, oh, Rescue's live now. Well, that might be something. Everybody, you guys can go over to Rescues and stuff like that. And I don't know. I might do that now. Thinking about it, I might shut this thing down and at least pop in for a second and say good morning to Rescue and stuff. But um, um, but like I said, I'm gonna probably get a few hours of sleep and PDF morning time, see you, sir. coming at the coming at the end of it all. Um, oh yeah, hey, I'm sure everybody knows, but yeah, Indy's got her backstage tonight. What movie are you doing? Any movies? What are you gonna do tonight? What are you gonna do over there, Indy? Um, Hell, the weather's starting to get pretty nice, man. You don't even need a fucking AC. I've been out here. I've been out here for the past few hours, man, and next to the fire because the damn weather is about 60 degrees, a little about 63 degrees out here. I don't even need a damn air conditioner. Oh, the documentary on the mRNA. Okay, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. All right. Well, for anybody that's interested in that kind of thing, man, that's interested in that stuff, man, you guys need to come over and hang out over on Indies, man, backstage. And And plus the conversation will probably be pretty, interesting. Yeah, it was, it was up in the 85 or something like that, almost 90-degree yesterday also, but, you know, the nights are getting kind of, the nights are getting definitely kinda nice. I've been leaving the window open and shit like that, and the door, with the screen door and all that stuff, kinda, because the nights have been pretty nice. I haven't even used an air conditioner for the past couple of nights, which has been kinda nice. Um, so it's definitely starting to cool down a little bit. Oh, I haven't even broke out the heater yet, you know. I haven't even done that yet. Like I said, I mean, the hell is just, you can't even tell right yet, but I mean, the sun is just hasn't even come up enough where it's starting to light up the sky yet. I can just see a little bit of light in the back in the sky. Yeah, oh man, Atlas Shrugs. That's a good one, man. And that's, to me, I can see that being really close to reality, like that breakaway societies and shit. You know what I mean? I wish I can contribute to something like that and be in one of those. If there was something I can contribute to one of those type of like breakaway societies, because that's what I see when I see that Atlas Shrug, and it's a good one. I enjoyed watching that because I mean, that's what true freedom, and that I mean, and to get away from all this fucking shit, and if I had something to contribute to that type of and then to that type of a thing, I would love to be in that. I would love to be in that. Maybe I can find one or something like that, and it needs a blacksmith. Yeah. I have thought the same thing, Indy, because I mean, um there have been some high profile type people that just all of a sudden disappeared, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't know, uh what possibly, faked their own death and disappeared type of shit. I've thought about that. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and shut this thing down, y'all, and let y'all get to it. Like I said, I might pop in over at Rescues for a minute, just to say hi and all that stuff. So, um, and then I'm gonna get me some sleep. Y'all have a good morning out there, and I appreciate all y'all coming in and hanging out with me, y'all. I mean, Huckleberry, Nana, Indy, PDF, a late one, the Tate, Billy, um, let's see here, Garrett, Wolverine, um, Rip, Chaka, all you guys, man. I appreciate all you guys coming in. I really do. And Carolina coming in at the last minute, or like one of the, probably one of the one of the people just sitting back in the back. But I appreciate all you guys coming in. I really do. And I'll try and do more of these little fireside chat things. If you guys got anything, on the like the philosophical and the deep, or the spiritual, all those type of conversations and all that stuff that would be just perfect by sitting around the fire talking about, you know, come on by for sure. And I'm gonna try and, like I said, I'm gonna try and gather up some more firewood and stuff like that so I can do some more of these. Since the weather is just perfect for sitting around the fire. You can actually see the sun starting to come up right over there. You see how it's starting to kind of come up over the tree line right there. So, you know, as a vampire, I need to hurry up into the house before the sun comes. Yeah. So, but I appreciate all you guys coming in and hanging out. This is the 1122 Wingnut Radio, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. You guys be good at it, or be good at it. You know what I mean?